It's Lani Sharp's Esoteric Brunch. Join us for an exciting SOC radio show. Lani is an author, mother, astrologer, dream believer, spellcaster, eternal student of magic. Take your seat and join us in the SOC radio chat room as Lani shares and discusses with you all esoteric topics, thoughts and knowledge with a touch of magic. It's Lani's Esoteric Brunch live on SOC Radio. Come on in, take your seat as the magic starts with Lani.
Good morning and welcome to Lani's Esoteric Brunch. Today I am featuring special guest Louise Geary, Activate Your Feminine and Art of Feminine Presence teacher, facilitator, speaker and trainer. The title of our show today is Activate Your Feminine, Be Truly, Deeply, Vividly You. Welcome, Louise.
Thank you, Lani. It's great to be here.
Yes, it's great to have you. So today we'll be talking about the art of feminine presence and reconnecting with our divine spark and the goddess within and integrating our spirit and body so that we can get more out of our lives. So what I'll begin with to talk to you about is you're an experienced facilitator, speaker and trainer. So you're a registered teacher of, Art of Feminine Presence.
Yeah.
Beautiful. And you're creating your own body of work called Activate Your Feminine, Be Truly, Deeply, Vividly You, which is the title of our show today. So tell us a bit about that, about everything you do.
Art of Feminine Presence, I do a lot of classes and workshops. So a lot of the work I do is embodiment work. So the Art of Feminine Presence is a lot about developing awareness around yourself, your relationship with yourself and your relationship with others. And for a lot of women, well, for all of us, it's about connecting into our feminine core, so to our feminine sexual energy, basically. And for a lot of us, we've disconnected from that for some reason, or we're just so busy that we're not in our bodies a lot. So a lot of the work I do is about, first of all, coming back into your body and into the present moment right now so that you can actually really feel the pleasure in being alive right now instead of, being 10 steps ahead of yourself. Thinking
yes. I think a lot of women can relate to that.
Yes, yeah. So a lot of the practices are actually about being in your body. So we do work around really getting a sense of what it feels like to be home in your body.
Great.
And Activate Your Feminine is I use a lot of Art of Feminine Presence practices. It is in development actually, but I'm working more towards it's kind of creating rituals.
Yeah, sure.
And around, because a lot of the work that you do with connecting to the feminine is very it's very deep and it's hard to put into words. Sometimes you need something like a bridge, like a ritual that will take you into that space and help you experience it.
And so tell us about the ritual work then.
Well, that's, like I said, it's a work in progress, but it's often group work because one of the things for women, and it's about that disconnect from the feminine, part of it is because other women haven't appreciated us as women. There's been, especially in the teenage years where we've been a bit competitive or we haven't felt good enough about our bodies or all of those things. So part of it is actually being in a group of supportive, loving, amazing women who actually see you for who you are. And then rituals around stepping into, your feminine qualities, that who you really are, and then the other women actually saying, I see you. I see you. And it's so powerful. So a lot of it's really that. It's quite, it seems quite simple, I know, but.
Yeah, well, that's right. And it doesn't have to be complex or complicated or long-winded. So when you're doing ritual work, is it a skill that you can teach women and they can take it away with them and do it on their own? Or is it a group thing? Or what sort of dynamic is a ritual? What does that involve?
Rituals generally, I think, are more powerful in groups. Yeah. I do private work, like I work individually with people. And
Yes.
there'll always be a component of that in it, because for me, ritual is about interpreting something that you cannot put words to.
Yeah.
It's about connecting you to the
is.
divine potential in yourself, which is wordless.
Yeah.
So it's like when you see a sunset and it's just so beautiful and you feel it in your body and you feel that
it's a
joy.
feeling.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's not always easy to interpret. It's not always easy to bring that effect back to your life. Yeah. So that's what the ritual's for, to help you bridge that back into your real life, to bring that amazing feeling back into when you're talking to your son about a difficult topic or whatever it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah.
So you do workshops and one-on-one work with women.
Yes.
So firstly, tell us about the workshops you facilitate and where people can find out more information about them. So what sort of workshops do you do?
I do one-day ones. And the last one, again, it's morphing. So the first part of it is often an introduction to or a reworking of the art of feminine presence kind of foundational practices, where you really learn to connect. You really recognise when you're not in your body, when you are in your body, when you're not in your body. You recognise the feeling of that feminine energy in your body and the pleasure that comes with that.
Yeah.
And you start to see yourself in a different way. So those practices, and then the second half of the day is kind of an opening out now into some kind of activate ritual.
Yeah. How interesting.
Yeah.
So you talk about rituals, perhaps even speaking about how women can connect to their bodies and integrate their physical and their spiritual. But what about do you work with? I find that meditation can be a really powerful thing to get you into a sort of a place or a space of connection. Do you know what I mean? Do you work with meditation?
Definitely. A lot of the art of feminine presence practices are based on meditative principles, or their actual meditations. So there's lots of visualization. I guess the difference is that you then do something in your body to kind of bring it into reality.
Yes.
So do you know what I mean? So meditation is beautiful and powerful, and something that I try and do every day. Yeah. I love it. And you can have the most amazing experiences there. But if you're not grounded, if you don't bring that back into your body, then it doesn't come into effect in your life.
Yes, yeah.
So you can get into a meditative space and kind of float off, get a bit, spiritual and...
Yeah, definitely.
And it's just beautiful. But if you haven't got your feet on the earth with it, then it won't come back into your life, probably.
I totally understand. Because it is a powerful medium, if you like, to sort of access your inner self and bring that into the outer, world as well. But the thing with meditation is it can make you drift, off into another sort of universe in a way. So how do you bring back into your how do you ground, or how do you teach someone how to ground back into their body, embodiment?
I think I'm thinking about that right now, because I'm a doer rather than a...
Yeah, that's
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So sometimes it is hard to put into words, but I think it's feeling. So I think I really see it as you have that meditative experience, but you bring it back into your body and you feel it in your body. And so sometimes I will ask people to follow that wherever it is in their body, follow the energy. Yep. I'll also just ask them to tell me how they're feeling. And often the thing that really brings it into reality is when you actually have a discussion, a bit of a talk about it afterwards, about how it felt, about what happened, what you noticed. And usually we do a lot of witnessing in the classes. So you might do pair or group work. So you also see someone else do the same thing.
Oh, that would be really useful.
Yes. And so then you can see what happens for them and you can talk to them about what you saw. So often people have their biggest ahas or their biggest awarenesses when they actually put it into words afterwards.
Interesting. So they can reflect on it and tell you about and learn for themselves how it assisted them.
Yep.
Okay, so you do these workshops, but what about your one-on-one work with women? What does that involve?
That's very individual, so it's coaching really.
Yeah.
So it will very much be about where that woman's at right now. So I usually ask them what their burning issues are to start with, and we'll talk through a few things. And as they're talking, I'll be formulating and working out what we can do together. And pretty much always we do a drop into your body and really kind of drop below the surface feelings so that you can really drop into what's happening underneath. So the feelings, your deeper feelings. And once people really get to that space, then they're really expressing what their soul needs. And it's quite a simple kind of process to guide people into that place. Yeah. And then really listen to their own wisdom around what they need as well. So we're nearly always do something like that. It's a really good listening practice. You're learning to listen to yourself.
Yeah, well, that's right. And I think, so many of us seek guidance outside of ourselves when all of our wisdom can be found within. But we just need to know how to connect with that. And a lot of us have lost touch with that, as you probably observe in your work.
Yes.
So you've spoken with me a little bit about this concept of sacred feminine connection. So the embodiment practices, are these all related to your? Hang on, sorry, I've lost a train of thought there.
Bringing the spiritual into your body, into your life.
Oh no, I was actually gonna. Sorry, I'll go back to the start.
Right.
So sacred feminine connection, activate your feminine, and the art of feminine presence. Now these are three things. Yeah. Are they all related, or do you work with them as separate modalities? Or are they all sort of
they're all related. Yeah. They're all related. So for me, the sacred feminine connection, it's actually about connecting to your sexual energy within your body. So I see that as the divine within us.
Yes.
And if we're not connected to that, then the world's a little bit empty for me, and I really see that in a lot of women, that it's almost like there's got to be more to life than this, Is this as much as it gets like that?
So the women that come to you in either your workshops or your individual work, are they do you find, I mean, this is a yes or no question and you can discuss it, but do you find a lot of them have reached a point in their life where they realise there's something really wrong or something really missing, like sort of like a crisis, or
yes, yeah.
Do you find a lot of women are going through that phase when they approach you?
Yes, yeah, and you know why, of course, because that's what I've done myself. That's what's happened for me as well.
Yeah,
but yeah, definitely.
So they've reached a turning point, a crossroads where they think or they say or express, I can't keep going like this. There is something wrong here. I need help, or I need some sort of guidance around this.
I want to feel pleasure. I want to enjoy life. What happened to, loving life? It's
absolutely.
Women get so caught up in, especially I work with a lot of business women, so they're caught up in their businesses and they're great at it. They're usually, the women I work with are really good at what they do.
Overachievers almost.
Yeah, but sometimes almost like not confident at spreading the word about it because they don't feel good enough about themselves, not grounded, so really, really losing energy, but putting all their work into their business, feeling like they're not being good enough mothers, not being good enough wives or whatever partners, not being good enough everything, nothing. There's a lot of that. I'm not good enough. They lose so much energy around that. And I really see it as being just a bit disconnected from the core of who we are. Because if you connect into that, you realise that we're amazing. Every woman is amazing. Every person on this planet is extraordinary.
Absolutely.
We're just so often trying to be what everyone else expects us to be, We're so often fitting into this mould of what we think everyone wants us to be, and it's not who we are or not who we want to be.
No, I think a lot of us have forgotten who we are yeah, that's sort of not so much the inner child, but the inner, well, like you talk about,
the inner goddess,
feminine spark. That's right.
Yes. Yeah. And it is.
So
it's
you talk about,
it's like the life spark. That's what I see it as.
And like you said, the energy is drained from that spark, and you lose your energy and you lose your purpose in a way if you're not connected with that. There is a disconnect.
Yes.
And that can lead to all kinds of problems. Yes.
Exhaustion.
Yeah.
Kind of that feeling of loss.
Yeah, or something's missing, or...
Yeah. It's hard, and it's harder to be... it's kind of harder to connect deeply with people. If you're not connected deeply to yourself, it's really hard to connect deeply to others. Now, that affects everything. That affects your friendships. It affects your relationships with your family, with your partner.
Absolutely.
It affects relationships with clients and your capacity to attract clients, if you're running a business. So without that, then, you'll be really good at your work. You might even be really good at standing up and talking about it.
Yeah.
But people will still not quite get it, There'll be a feeling of, they won't even know why, but they might not be drawn to you.
Yeah. So it's hard when you don't know why, where to start, if you can't identify what the actual problem is. So that's what you get to the bottom of when you're first working with somebody. You just ask them what's going on in their lives and work out from there. It all unfolds.
Yes. So I'll do some coaching work and just get people to work through things, but I'll invariably take them through some embodiment practices where they actually really drop home and learn how to connect back to that core. Yeah.
So what do you think are some of the reasons why women are disconnected?
There's lots of reasons why women disconnect, and sometimes it's because we're busy and stressed and worried. So it's like we're one step ahead of ourselves, or we're one step behind, thinking about that argument we had with our partner that morning, or, so all of our attention is going to that, and we're not actually here in the present moment. And whoever you're with will get that you're kind of distracted, you're not really present.
Yeah.
So, but there's other reasons as well. There's lots of reasons. Like there are cultural reasons around why women disconnect. A lot of women think that they have to be more masculine in a workplace to be taken seriously.
Interesting.
Yeah. Think they won't get the job done, or they won't be seen and heard, and they won't be taken seriously. I think that's one of the big things. So they think they have to become more masculine, so they actually do shift more into the masculine energy, or they think they're becoming more masculine, but often what they're doing is just becoming really neutral. Right. So you lose all of that. You lose that sexual attraction as well then too. You lose that magnetism.
Yes.
Really affects your intimate relationships then.
Yeah.
And then, the other big reasons are there's religious reasons why women shut down, because over the millennia the feminine's been denigrated and demonized and feared. So there's a big one around that. And even if you're not, there might be some religions where that's still kind of, the feminine's a bit dangerous. Women are told by their mothers that, they've got to, shut it down because they distract men too much, or all of those kinds of things.
Yeah, sure.
But all of us, I really believe, have it kind of ingrained in our DNA almost, or in our consciousness.
Yep.
From the millennia where women were, in some way feared because of their feminine power, because of their creative capacity, their capacity to build life, to create life.
Yeah.
Healing. So, witches being burnt at the stake, or women being burnt at the stake because they were witches, or all of those things.
And it's all about perception, isn't it?
Yes.
And self-perception as well. So we tend to step away from our core selves if we feel there are expectations that we need to meet.
I think sometimes too, like that kind of, where it's kind of ingrained in a culture, that it's even deeper. So it's probably not even a conscious thing that we disconnect a little bit.
Yeah.
And there's also abuse, of course. It's why would you want to be in your body if it hurts? If you've been so unsafe.
Blockage around people who are survivors of abuse or a sexual assault. there can be so many issues around that become either ingrained or just deep-rooted. And I think women, can carry a lot of that. And because they never seek to heal it, it causes a blockage throughout their lives and causes that disconnect. It can.
Yeah, a lot of pain.
So, absolutely. And it's such a prevalent, hidden epidemic, really, that a lot of women are carrying this around with them, which is a really sad thing.
That's a whole other...
Particularly if they don't seek to heal it.
Yeah,
exactly. It is. And it's a very sensitive topic.
Yeah.
I'm sure you've worked with people who have, things around that.
Yeah, I have. And, there's a whole other part of it too about, when we connect to our feminine energy, our feminine sexual energy, we're healthier, we heal.
Yes.
And it comes across, we have a healthy feminine presence, this spark. When men do the same thing and connect to their own masculine energy, then they develop that healthy, masculine, active, amazing, magnetic, masculine. Yeah.
Oh, definitely.
And I really think there's a whole lot around that, which is kind of a whole other story, a whole other talk. But
it's about exactly
men, when men reclaim that, because I think a lot of men are disconnected too, and I think it's part because they're afraid. They are devastated by what's been happening to women, and it's all those kind of the abuser and the aggressiveness and all of those things have become associated with the masculine, and that's not healthy masculine. That's just
exactly.
That's extremely unhealthy energy, which has nothing to do with healthy masculine energy.
Yeah. So do you think men are carrying sort of a collective baggage around that how they've been perceived as well?
I'm no expert, on this, Lani, but I do feel like that, and I really feel like if we could all do this work together, then we could make some really big shifts on the ground.
I'm thinking that.
Around it. Yeah.
Because both females and males would, feel disempowered by this shift of energy. So, or empowered on the other side of the coin. So if you work with empowering people and reconnecting them with that divine spark, then, it can get really interesting, can't it? So with men, so you do, a lot of work, most of your work with women.
I do.
Around feminine stuff, activate your feminine, for example. Mm-hmm. So do you work with men, or is there any way you can incorporate men into this work?
I do. At the moment, I do private sessions with men. I'm not doing group work with men. I have done some work with them in groups, like mixed groups.
Yeah.
So I do some professional development work as well around, staying in your body and being calm and managing your boundaries and all of those things.
Yeah.
So I've worked with men in those areas, but I'm not running groups particularly for men because I don't feel like that's my area of expertise.
Yeah, sure. Yep.
For the group work, but I definitely work with men individually.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the practices, like especially the art of feminine presence practices, you just convert them a bit. That you do it a little bit differently, but they are all based on
the same principles.
Yeah, they're based on tantric dance practices and qigong and a lot of energy work that and Eastern philosophies and meditation. Mindfulness. I nearly said mindlessness then. Mindfulness. But so
there's a fine line between them, I think. Sometimes.
So you can you can definitely just adjust the practices for men. Yeah.
Sure. So when men come to your workshops, are they generally with a partner, or do they come on their own, or are they just interested in exploring it, or how does that?
Actually, it's always with the men that I've worked with that has been in professional development groups, so they're coming along anyway, and they get lumped with me. Because I'm there.
So that's through a workplace, is it?
And so they're usually a bit open to unusual ways of living, I guess, if they employ me. they're looking at helping their staff in a different way.
Yeah, definitely.
Which is really very much about just practical experience, practical stuff about how to, you know, be fully present with your clients and how not to burn out, you know, keep your energy up. So all of those things. So the men that I've worked with have actually really loved it. It's a bit challenging. I've had men say to me, I usually hate this touchy-feely stuff, but this was great.
Oh, that's great. And it means that you must really connect with people on that sort of level. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
So, Louise, you're a wife and mother of 2 beautiful sons, I hear. Yeah. Yes. So you've mentioned to me before that your son was born injured and that this led you to walk a path of greater empowerment so that you may help your son function in a world that imposes stigmas on disabilities. So firstly, how old is your son and how is he doing now?
He's 16 and he's doing really well. Dylan just takes big chunks out of life, Dylan. He loves it. Like when you first, I have a friend who does education around disability, and she talks about when she first met Dylan, she just looked at him and thought, oh, well, I can't see how he could really get much out of life because he's nonverbal and sometimes it takes him a little while to process. And if he's not engaged, he's a 16-year-old, if he's not engaged, he's not going to give you a big smile. Like, you know, so but now
so
she says she realised that he's you know, he loves life. He loves life more than anyone, you know, and he gets right into it. He loves it. So the thing is his needs are quite high, so you have to facilitate pretty much everything for him. Absolutely. So, yes, he's still non-verbal, but we use different forms of communication. We're exploring, you know, using his eyes to activate computers and that kind of stuff, which is hard work. So he's amazing. We were talking about video beforehand. We're doing this post-school options for him. We're doing this business called Dylan's Kitchen, which is in baby stages at the moment. But I do Facebook Live every time we do it. And I get it gets a lot of watches. It's really funny. A lot of people.
What's it called? Dylan's Kitchen.
Dylan's Kitchen. So at this point, we're just cooking in our kitchen and cooking for people we know because we don't have, you know, it's not a business yet. We're just practicing. Yeah. But we get so many orders, like we can't fill them.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. And so how can people watch that, Dylan's Kitchen?
It's on my page, so they have to be friends with me. I can put it on. So I do Facebook Live. So I can put it on his page, which is called Go Dylan Go. So that's a community page, which we really set up just to kind of build a bit of a community around Dylan.
So people can join that page. To join.
I think you can just go and like it and follow it.
Okay.
Because it's just
so
a community
Go Dylan Go.
Fantastic. Yeah. There's a website. There used to be a website which was ours and we let it go, and it's now a Bob Dylan page. So if you end up on that, but the Facebook page is Go Dylan Go.
Yeah, I don't think Bob Dylan's doing a cooking show of late.
So it doesn't have lots on it. I'll post the Facebook Live up.
Yeah, great. That'd be really good for anybody who's listening if they're interested to go and have a look. That sounds really fascinating. Yeah. And I'm going to go and have a look myself. So how has this helped you? How has Dylan's sort of life helped you in your healing work with women?
You know, you never want this kind of experience to kick you along in life, really. No one ever asks for this kind of thing to make them learn what they need to learn. But, you know, it's probably kicked me along a lot faster than I would have moved, I think, because I got so, you know, it was a lot of work and we were quite grief-stricken and
you
probably
a lot to take in.
Yeah, and a bit broken. Like we didn't quite manage things very well. Yeah. We managed, but we're a bit broken. So there was just a point where I was so stressed and so unhappy that I just realised I couldn't keep going like that. I needed to make some changes, and the gift was that I actually wanted to be present for my kids and I wanted to make a good life. So I just started really quickly just drinking water because that was all I could do. I couldn't manage anything else, and just thinking about drinking water and doing something good for myself. And from there, I then started to look for things that would help me to get back into life and to heal.
Yeah.
And I was led very quickly to Art of Feminine Presence, actually. And
that's your creation, is it?
No, the Art of Feminine Presence is created by Rachel Jane Groover.
Yeah.
So that's that body of work that she's developed, and a lot of my work is based on Art of Feminine Presence practices.
So
Rachel Jane Groover.
Yeah, great.
Good name, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Groovy name.
Groover, yeah. Yeah, so she's developed all of that work and made it very accessible, which is amazing. So I'm a teacher of that now. So I did that first practice where you learn to drop home into womb space, and realised I could feel myself in this really calm place inside my body, and I could feel like this electric storm all the way around me, this all around my body. And I realised that's where I'd been for years.
So you actually felt that?
Yes.
A current almost.
Yeah, almost like I could hear it. But I feel so.
Yes,
and kind of know.
So you're a kinesthetic type?
Yeah, and sentient, clairsentient, I guess, if you want to look at it that way. So
I think I'm clairsentient too.
Yeah.
I've gone through the list, and there's all different clairs, which means clear seeing or clear whatever after it. Clear hearing is clairaudience. So that fantastic. And you're doing the right kind of work for your soul's purpose, really, it sounds like.
Exactly, because I was disconnected. Now I wasn't, I hadn't stepped into the masculine. I was just in this really kind of shut down, neutral state.
Yeah.
And I was totally disconnected from the bottom half of my body, and I was physically hurting and physically exhausted. So I realised that I'd been there. I'd been connected sometimes, and other times I wasn't. But most of the time I was just in that kind of outside my body.
Absolutely.
Really. And you can't be happy in that place, and you're always going to get caught up in the criticisms, the judgments, the worry, the stress.
Yeah.
You're going to get caught up in the grief and not be able to get out of it if you stay in that space. If you don't get back into your body, you're never going to be able to move past the story.
Yes. And so whenabouts, I'm just interested, I mean, I asked you before about when women come to you, and you said that, well, I asked if they were generally at a turning point, crossroads, or in a crisis. Is that what happened to you? Is that how you found this sort of path? Or, did you reach a point or an epiphany where you just thought this cannot keep going as it is?
Yeah, I had I call it my epiphany at the sink.
Yes. Okay. Yeah.
So I got up one day and I did. That was that bit where I just, I didn't like anything. I didn't like myself. I didn't want to be with my family. I was just so exhausted. Everything. So it was. But I would have. It was an epiphany and it was a turning point. And I did what I realised I needed to make change, and I wanted to make change.
Right.
So I did. But I knew I couldn't do much. Yeah.
Yeah.
But, the transformation, that thing, like, it was a transformative moment, but I could very easily have gone straight back to doing the same thing that I'd been doing.
Yeah, but it wasn't working for you.
No, but it's very easy. Like, you've got to take one step at a time, and transformation doesn't mean that you come away and think, oh, I'm so amazing and life's fun and everything's lovely. You've got to work at it. You've got to work at it step by step by step, and you have to keep at it.
And change can be painful.
Yeah, and you can slip back, or I guess that's the way to look at it, but you can just step back into old habits quite easily, and don't you worry, I do it, I still do it.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
It's just to have more tools now to be able to open myself up again to that kind of bigger.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And so how old was Dylan when you had this moment, or this sort of time in your life where you decided enough was enough? And, let's...
Dylan, I don't know. It's maybe about 6 years ago, so Dylan's about 10 or 11.
Yeah.
I just need
so that's
to
a
put
long time. Yep.
Yeah. One point, though.
Yep.
It wasn't really... Dylan's birth, that was a trigger, and that's kind of what brought it to the head. And having my younger son, then I got really busy and, Harry. So, but it wasn't, Dylan didn't make me that way, I was already in that state. I was already disconnected. I was already grief-stricken. I was already lost, and all of those things. But I was still living, and I was still a lovely person and doing lots of stuff. Yeah. But I was just kind of not fully living. So I was that before I had Dylan, and that's what I don't like people to think, oh, it's because I had a child with disability that this all happened. Of course. But what happened is that, that just brought it to a head and made me do something about it. Whereas without Dylan and Harry, without children, who are your greatest mirrors, aren't they? Your greatest teachers.
They are. Your greatest teachers. Yeah. Absolutely.
I probably would have just, bubbled on that for a lot longer. Yeah, the children, my children are my gift. And my husband is too, because he has stuck with me through thick and thin and supported me with all of this, and been loving and kind and generous.
That's really nice. And so you're surrounded by men, it sounds like, or males.
I am.
So how did you come to work with women then? I mean, what drew you to the feminine side of life?
Well, that's probably part of it too, actually. Yeah, because you've got to have a bit of balance.
Yes.
I've always had really good women friends. And when I moved up to Queensland from Melbourne, I still kept in contact with those friends, but you kind of lose the connection a little bit. And I missed that because I then went into having, I had Dylan, and that took me right out of any world where I would have made my kind of friends in a way. Yeah. Takes you right out of any world to start with.
Yeah. It's big. Yeah, it does. It does.
Yeah. So
it's the biggest thing that can happen to you, I think. One of them. Yeah.
So part of it was that I actually really wanted that. I wanted that strong, nourishing those friendships.
Yeah.
With again. So part of it was that. Part of it's because I'm sitting in a house full of men.
Yeah.
And it's just I had to balance it out some way. But most of it was that I realised that that's what had been missing in my life, and I loved that work. I loved the Art of Feminine Presence work.
Yeah.
And I wanted to learn more. And I just I just started teaching it. As soon as I became a teacher, I started teaching, and I would teach if I only had one student, and I just kept going and going. So I've been running classes now for, 3, it might be my 4th year of classes.
Oh, fantastic.
And, so I've just kept going and going with it.
And are they always online? Are they always in-person workshops and classes, or are they sometimes online? Do you do other platforms, or is it all in person?
They're all in person at the moment. Yeah. Classes, workshop, retreat at the end of the year. But
we'll talk about the retreat. Sounds fascinating.
I'm looking forward to doing something with that next year, something online. I do Skype. I do Skype or Zoom sessions with people. I do phone appointments with people. Yeah. So I can work with someone anywhere in the world, really.
Yeah. That's the beauty of it, isn't it?
Yes. But I haven't developed any kind of online programs yet, but it's coming. But what I really like to do now is just to be able to say that it's in development, and I am really happy with that. I'm not pushing to get some big program up, and I'm not pushing to get people into my programs, because I need to stay here in my life. So I need to be with my children. I want to be, and with my husband, and I actually want to enjoy life too.
Yeah.
So I know I'm a full-time carer. So I have to balance that, and I'm really happy to do that. And it took me a long time to learn that, Lani. And when I started business, when you're running a business, you've got to do this and you've got to do that, and you've got to blah, 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 blah. And people tell you you've got to do everything. Yeah. So now I've discovered I just need to do it my way, which is very personal. My way of doing business is very personal connections. And whether that's on the phone or online, it's still very personal.
It sounds like it. And I would imagine you'd be very personal in workshops too, with a number of people.
Definitely, yep.
It's very personal work, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Okay, so how about this sense of disconnection many women today, have from their core divine selves, so their inner spark? How do you help them tap into that inner spark or goddess, or however you want to term it? How do you help women tap into it?
Well, it's about learning to make... Yeah, it's about really it's the embodiment practices as much as anything. So there are meditations, visualizations.
I like
most of them have an embodiment component.
Yeah.
So you have to feel it in your body. You have to make the change in your body. So I guess I'm trying to think about, so if you like using positive affirmations, they are powerful, important. Everyone should be doing them. Like it's great to use affirmations. But I always found that I could chitty chat with the affirmation, and it's like it would be going across the surface and I wasn't making any real change.
Yeah, okay.
So it will work, but it might probably takes quite a lot longer than if you make the change in your body.
Yeah, okay.
So
it's easier to open up when you're embodied, when you're aware of your physical sensations as well. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. So one practice that I would do, and I particularly do that with business women around when they stand up to, at a networking meeting, and you have to say what you do in 45 seconds.
Right.
And everyone goes, oh my God, I'm never going to be able to say it. And they try and get everything in, and they're so out of their bodies. So I'll get someone up and, get them to do that, their 30-second thing, and they'll, kind of talk fast and panicky often.
Yeah.
And then I'll get them to scan their body. So, like, make a mental note of what's going on in their body and where they're feeling kind of, any tension or whatever, where it's feeling. Ooh.
Yes.
So for some people it'll be in their chest, some people will be across their shoulders. That's often a big one, neck and shoulders.
Yeah,
so then I'll say to them, okay, so what's a movement that you could do that would let go of the tension in that place? Like, so say it's in your shoulders. And so they'll go, oh, I really want to, flap my arms around in a big circle. So you get them to do it, and you get them to do it really big, really, really big, and really close their eyes and get right into it. And you do it until they've really got that kind of in their bodies. Then you get them to stop and do the 45 seconds again about what they do in their business. Yeah. And it's different.
So the tension's been released.
Yeah. And you've brought yourself back into your body, of course.
Yeah, that's interesting.
So it's one really kind of physical movement.
Yeah, and you would see the change.
Bring it into your body so much quicker, and it will make change so much quicker. So affirmations are great and definitely do them, but this will work really quickly, and that's why I like it. So you can kind of do it in an instant. So before you go on stage to speak, you can do something like that, whatever that is, wherever you hold the tension in your body or wherever it feels that day, and drop yourself in. So I guess that's why I actually have trouble explaining what I do, because that's what I do.
Yeah. Yeah, so absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's something that can be felt and taken on, but not necessarily expressed in words sometimes.
Yeah, yeah.
But you're explaining it really well anyway, because I'm totally feeling what you're saying, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yep.
So I'm understanding exactly, but through your words how it all works. So integrating spirit and body, how to function? How do we function in the physical world through integrating these two effectively? Like, how do we integrate our spirit and body? Because a lot of people have they don't know how to do that. Either they're living in their head or in the outside world, or they're living too much in their body. You know what I mean? It's hard to explain. How do you bring the two together in a very cohesive way that enhances your life and your vitality?
Well, that's a practice.
Well, that's another thing, isn't it? You can't express that in words.
Well, you can. Like, I could tell you how to do the very simplest thing to make the bridge between, because for me, the spiritual, it's resident in our bodies, deep within our bodies. It's just that we are a bit disconnected from it. We're here in this lifetime, in this material world with this body. We're meant to be in it. We're meant to, to be in this life. We're meant to be in our bodies in the material world, making a difference, I think.
Absolutely.
So the connection between that and the divine are practices that take you into the core of your body, basically, because that's where I see that the divine resides within us.
Yes.
So all of the practices, but, there's a few foundational practices. There's one foundational practice, really, that will get you to focus on, basically, on your sexual chakra or the hara or the dantian or, it's all of those. So it's that power center. So it's the second chakra.
Yep.
What's that called?
The sacral.
Yeah. I'm not
very sacral is your sexual energy. Yeah.
Yeah. So basically it's a practice that leads you into resting, residing in that space. And if you can actually be in that space, you can have your attention there and be running a seminar. So it's not like your attention's split. It's actually that your attention is where it is meant to be. Your awareness is right in the core of your body, and then you can run the most amazing seminar. Then people will hear you, they will see you, they'll connect with you, and you will be able to speak. Yeah, more. You'll be able to speak much more from. Yeah, and just run a more effective and intuitive probably workshop where you can just follow the needs of the people in the group. I often say that in my classes, I have a plan, I have a lesson plan all the way through the classes, the 5-week series, and I change it every time because I'll get into the group and we'll do a bit of a drop-in and I'll listen to what people are saying and think, oh, okay, and I'll just completely change everything that we're doing, and that's all right.
So if you're a full-time carer, does Dylan go to school?
Yeah, Dylan goes to school full-time.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So you've got that sort of time to do these workshops, because I'm just thinking, which leads me to my next question, because I'd like to talk about a problem that many busy women have, and that is we're wives, mothers, career chasers, friends, carers. The list is endless, really. It really is endless. I could just go on. But we feel we have to be. A lot of us feel that we have to be all things to all people at all times, and it not only becomes exhausting, but it actually disconnects us from our energy and from our happiness. So how does our relentless busyness disconnect us from our inner powers, and what's the solution? I mean, what do we do? What do we do about our busyness? How do we balance ourselves again, rebalance?
That's a lifetime process, that is.
It is, isn't it?
So, again, it's that same thing. Because you're so busy, you're actually you're not giving 1 second's thought to your body's needs, to your spiritual needs, to whether you're breathing well enough or drinking enough water. Sometimes that's what's happening. So we're not paying any attention to any of those things. I think, that thing about needing to be all things to all people, in the end, the only thing that we can do is be all things to ourselves.
Yeah, and then it spills out into other areas. And
I guess
doing it right.
Yeah. So what it's about is it's almost like taking a step back into you more. So you step back and you get it more into that receptive mode. I think a lot of the time this being all things to everyone and the relentless busyness, I do love that phrase. Relentless is the word for it, and that's what will happen because we're so you're never going to get less busy if you live like that. You're going to get busier probably and just more exhausted and probably more unhappy in the end
and burnt out and more unhappy.
So if there's other processes around being receptive, learning to be receptive, because the yin energy, sometimes we're so yang, that active, it's kind of a bit more associated with masculine, but it's really just that active energy where we're out, we're going, we're giving, we're doing.
Yes, okay.
And we forget about yin, and we have to have both. Without the yin energy, we're not grounded, we're not connected to the earth, and we're not replenishing, and we're not receiving. And women have this thing about
not receiving. That's a good one.
We're givers, we nourish, we don't receive. But actually, it's a more natural state almost to be receptive.
Yes.
So if you can get into
and
that
that's a very
space,
yin thing.
yeah, if you can get into that receptive space within yourself, you don't just sit. It doesn't mean that you sit back and you don't do anything. You just sit like a big slug on the couch. It actually just means that you let go of that relentlessness.
So you come to some acceptance, like you were saying about your work, that you're not out there pushing people to be a part of your programs or your workshops or whatever. Rather, you just let it unfold as it will, and it will. It does, as you've seen in your work. It just all comes together at the right time, all the time. And if we just come back to that yin space, that receptivity instead of constant activity, and allow things to just be as they are, then we can actually become more magnetic, paradoxically.
Yes, but you do have to have. This is a whole other hour and a half, Lani.
This is
talking about magnetism and polarity, because that comes back to sexual energy. The magnetism that comes back to masculine and feminine energies and the polarity between the two. Whereas yin and yang is in everything. Masculine and feminine is within our bodies, but yin and yang is in everything in the world and in the universe and in us.
Yeah.
So there is a bit of a difference, but receiving it's about relaxing. It's not about not doing. It's about being able, allowing yourself to receive. And women don't allow that often.
Okay.
Because we think we have to give and do, and we're mothers and we're carers.
Yes.
I've got this. It's almost unhealthy sense of, well, we have to give all the time because we're women and we're mothers, and that kind of.
Yeah. And we have to do and achieve and commit.
Yeah. And we don't deserve to receive. But actually, when you get into that space, it's again like being in the feminine energy. It's more, it's just easier to be who you are, and it's easier to get things done. It's easy to do what you need to do in that day, where the relentless busyness is not, we're not getting stuff done.
Well, this is the paradox, I find, that if you just sort of surrender it over rather than constantly trying to accomplish things, which is the relentless busyness, then there is it's sort of like a bit of a contradiction, really. But the less busy you become, the more you actually achieve. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, exactly, because often the busyness is just a lot of rabbiting around doing nothing.
Well, you know what I mean? I get very caught up in the little trivial things, and I think I haven't achieved, or I haven't sort of done anything of substance amongst all this, and it's very frustrating. And it starts this vicious cycle, and then you become frustrated, exhausted, burnt out, all the rest. I mean, we've all been there.
That's stressed. You just stressed. And not just, got stressors going on. You're actually just overwhelmed and stressed and not anywhere near your body, most probably, when you're like that. And that, I don't mean that you stop doing things and just let the universe deliver business to you or deliver money to you. You know what I mean, don't you? It's more about relaxing into being who you really are. It's more about believing that you're allowed to receive. You don't always have to just do and give. But, with my business, I'm working. I'm working and I'm bringing people to me, and I'm actively contacting people about my work, about my retreats and things. I'm not just sitting back thinking,
waiting for it.
Yeah. So I just want to make that clear.
I understand.
It's not about, because that then tends to drift into that space where people just, you can easily, think, if I just get my thinking right, it'll just come. But you actually have to get in and do. Of course. Yeah, you have to take a fine balance
of exactly, of action and having the right mindset. Yes. Now we're about to go to a break, but after the break, I really want to talk to you about a bit more about sexual energy.
Yep.
And cultural, societal stuff around that, and also some female traditions. I'd like to talk to you about, I want to talk to you about your retreat, actually. So we'll talk about that after the break. And I'll speak to you.
Lani will be right back here on SOC Radio with more discussion and sharing of all aspects in living spiritually and esoteric topics. Spiritualistonline.com. Online since 2002, teaching all aspects of personal and spiritual development. Free to all with audio video chat rooms, members forums and SOC Radio live shows on site. The Spiritualist Online Network and Lyceum, a global oasis for spiritual awareness, development, attainment, imparting knowledge, thoughts, ideas to inspire. One site, linking a whole network of spiritually informative, educational and interactive services, encompassing every faith, path, walk, religion as one. Advertise with SOC Radio. 10, 15, 20 or 30-second jingles, adverts or promotions, all going out live on SOC Radio. Promote your services, churches, groups or events at the best rates online. Work with us on shows or promotion and you could get your jingles absolutely free. For this and more, contact Julie at socradioshows@gmail.com. Membership on spiritualistonline.com. Join our teaching lyceum, classes and courses to certificate and diploma levels. It's an option, not an obligation. Still only £30 per year for unlimited seminars, guest sessions, members' moments, voice members included on radio chats and TV shows, full certificate courses and qualifications, members' promotions of sites, books and services, discounts on SOC services, one-on-one teaching, private classes, members-only Facebook. Upgrade your membership today. Joint family group options. See spiritualistonline.com. Join us on SOC Radio. Host your own online radio show. We welcome inquiries and ideas for your own show live right here on SOC Radio. Share your knowledge, thoughts and abilities. Bring your ideas to life with us here on SOC Radio and spiritualistonline.com. Or join any of our shows as a special guest, speaker or presenter. Check out the liveliest spiritual chat show, the Spiritualist Open Circle Panel Forum, a monthly discussion show, or the Circle of Mediums, a weekly show sharing spirit messages and teaching all aspects of mediumship and psychic abilities. Or join our Christina on the monthly astrology show. Contact us now at socradioshows@gmail.com. Join us on SOC Radio. Host your own online radio show. We welcome inquiries and ideas for your own show live right here on SOC Radio. Share your knowledge, thoughts and abilities. Bring your ideas to life here with us on SOC Radio at spiritualistonline.com. Or join any of our shows as a special guest, speaker or presenter. Check out the liveliest spiritual chat show, the Spiritualist Open Circle Panel Forum, a monthly discussion show, or the Circle of Mediums, a weekly show sharing spirit messages and teaching all aspects of mediumship and psychic abilities. Or join our Christina on the monthly astrology show. Contact us now at socradioshows@gmail.com or facebook.com/SOC Radio. The Circle of Mediums radio show. 6 mediums, healers, psychics, tarot, astrologers, spiritual workers every week, sharing spirit messages, development techniques, guidance and much more. Live in the SOC Radio chat room on spiritualistonline.com or simply listen in at tunein.com. Search SOC Radio. Would you like to contribute readings, thoughts, teachings and time to this 2-hour show? Get in touch at socradioshows@gmail.com. Spiritualist Open Circle Forum Panel Show, the liveliest spiritual chat show online. The Spiritualist Open Circle Panel Forum Chat Show with hosts, guest speakers and panellists discussing and challenging all areas of spiritual thought, ability, knowledge and more. Ever wanted to voice your thoughts and help set standards within the field? Confront those who bring the work down, or simply share your ideas and help bring Spirit's work into the light of day, and give spiritualism the recognition of all as a true faith and way of life? Then this is the show for you. Every last Friday of the month, 10 p.m. UK time. Join the team. SOC Radio aims to provide a wide range of hosts, shows, views and opinions while endeavouring to maintain our three vital principles of openness. Advertise with SOC Radio. 10, 15, 20 or 30-second jingles, adverts or promotions, all going out live on SOC Radio. Promote your services, churches, groups or events at the best rates online. Work with us on shows or promotion and you could get your jingles absolutely free. For this and more, contact Julie at socradioshows@gmail.com. Membership on spiritualistonline.com. Join our teaching lyceum, classes and courses for certificate and diploma levels. It's an option, not an obligation. Still only £30 per year for unlimited seminars, guest sessions, members' moments, voice members included on radio chats and TV shows, full certificate courses and qualifications, members' promotions of sites, books and services, discounts on SOC services, one-on-one teaching, private classes, members only Facebook. Upgrade your membership today. Joint family group options. See spiritualistonline.com. Membership on spiritualistonline.com. Join our teaching lyceum, classes and courses for certificate and diploma levels. It's an option, not an obligation. Still only £30 per year for unlimited seminars, guest sessions, members' moments, voice members included on radio chats and TV shows, full certificate courses and qualifications, members' promotions of sites, books and services, discounts on SOC services, one-on-one teaching, private classes, members only Facebook. Upgrade your membership today. Joint family group options. See spiritualistonline.com. Welcome back to Lani's Esoteric Brunch. Grab a cuppa and a snack as we bring you more topics and discussions, sharing and messages with Lani Sharp.
Hi, welcome back. I'm speaking with Louise Geary, and our show is called Activate Your Feminine, Be Truly, Deeply, Vividly You. And Louise has spoken with me about all the amazing work she does around feminine, connecting with our divine inner spark, embodiment practices, among many other things. So, Louise, you speak a bit about sexual energy. Why do you think women still, in this age of supposed liberation, potential and full expression, why do we tend to still suppress or shun our sexuality and sexual natures? Why do you think that is? It's a big one.
Yeah. You got a couple of days. No, I think, I think it's all of those things that we did touch on before.
Yeah.
That for some of us, it doesn't feel safe to be in our bodies.
Okay.
For many of us, and that's, possibly to do with abuse, not necessarily, but it might just be culturally because there's still that sense of, that men have the power. There's still that feeling around that sometimes for us, and maybe it doesn't feel safe. Or sometimes it's that thing too about being in a workplace, and it's a very masculine workplace, and you tend to move towards the masculine because you think that's the only way you'll be taken seriously. Yeah. There's all of those things, and, perhaps religious reasons.
Yep. Sure.
Sometimes, we're well educated now. Women in this world now are quite a well-educated, smart, savvy people.
Yeah, definitely. And
we do a lot of work that requires our intellect, and we can associate the intellect with being in our heads, So you kind of you kind of can end up in that space where you don't know why you need to be in your body, because your intellect is what brings you joy. Your intellect is what helps you connect with people. Intellect, I must say, is very important. We need our intellect, but we forget that actually our intellect will expand and be more helpful to us if we actually have it connected into our bodies.
Yeah.
But for some of us, we kind of, it's like, you know, why would you want to be in your body? Because the intellect is so amazing. Why do we need it? It just hurts and it gets in the way, and, you know, gets overweight. You know, and the payoff actually is that you start to feel pleasure again. You can't feel pleasure unless you're in your body. So that's the payoff. So so you want to be in your body, you might not want to be because you're so intellectual and life's so amazing anyway, but the payoff is if you drop into your body and you start to live from that space, you start to feel pleasure again in life. So don't just mean sexual pleasure, I mean in life. You start to feel pleasure in your body, but pleasure in being alive.
Yeah.
And sometimes and a lot of these are just my kind of thoughts, and I guess some of them are coming from having worked with so many women now, but women sometimes think we don't deserve it. We don't deserve to feel We don't deserve to feel pleasure. So we shut down on it because, if we feel too much pleasure, that's not good. And there's, you know, probably lots of cultural and religious reasons, again, that come in behind that, you know.
Absolutely. And so you've said that, and I quote you, it takes courage to stand up and say who we are and what we do. So why do you think many women are afraid of speaking up or stepping into their true power? Why do you think that might be? Why are they afraid, or why is it still taboo?
I think it's endemic with women. I see it because I work with a lot of business women, including myself. You should have seen me at my first networking meeting standing up, because for a lot of women, their businesses, you know, in a business sense anyway, this is an example, that their businesses are often an expression of who they are.
Right.
And it can feel really unsafe to stand up and say, this is who I am, and show the world who you are, because somewhere along the line we've been hurt. When we've been open and spontaneous and delightful when we're little kids, we've been shut down. We've been told to not be so noisy, or we've been told we're embarrassing, or, you know, there's all sorts of reasons why we might be afraid to stand up and say who we are. A big one is probably that fear of rejection, that fear that we won't be loved. If we tell people who we really are, they won't love us.
Yeah.
And that's devastating. But it's quite common in women.
Yes.
I won't be loved. I won't be safe. I won't be looked after, or...
Yeah, or I'll be abandoned, or...
Yeah, yes. If I tell people who I really am. So then you end up with that disconnect again, and that feeling of, you know, they're kind of projecting a certain image that they think people want to see, rather than actually talking about who they really are.
Yeah, well,
it might hurt too much. You might, if you open that pathway into the core of yourself and someone says, "Oh, yuck, I don't like you," then how much is that going to hurt?
Well, that's the thing, and I think there's a psychological theory, and I think it's pretty accurate, that we human beings will do more to avoid pain than they will to seek pleasure. So, therefore, a lot of our behaviour is motivated by pain avoidance, and that sort of manifests in this suppression of our sexual selves or our true core authentic self, because we're afraid. So we're avoiding that pain of loss or rejection or abandonment. So how do we know we're shut down or disconnected? How do we recognise that? Will we be tired? We might be promiscuous. How does that manifest when we're disconnected?
You won't, if you're disconnected from your sexual energy. If you're disconnected from it, you won't be promiscuous. You probably won't have much sexual attraction. Okay. You won't feel attracted to people. you probably won't attract many, much interest. You won't feel like sex with your intimate partner often.
Yep.
You feel tired. You get very tired when you're disconnected because you're not connected to your core energy. It can happen the other way around. You know how you said you can be promiscuous. You can be disconnected from your heart.
Yeah, okay.
And only connected to your sexual centre. So that's when you're promiscuous. That's when you're not safe, when you don't look after yourself, and you own.
Absolutely.
Or you might connect with.
It's kind of self-sabotage in a way, and promiscuous behaviour. I mean, while it's not wrong in and of itself, it still can mask a deeper problem, and that could be a lack of connection, like a lack of wanting to be intimate with somebody, or not feeling you deserve the love of a longer term union. So that's why I mentioned that it can indicate a deeper, more complex problem going on that somebody needs to address, because promiscuity can, again, paradoxically, make one feel quite empty. They might be having a lot of physical contact with others, but then they come back to themselves and they're still feeling, that sense of loss. So
and I think it's partly because you're not connecting on any other level. There's not necessarily an intimacy when you have sex with someone, and that's okay. But sometimes we need the intimacy as well. So we need that deeper connection with someone for it to feel like more than a sexual experience. It needs to be more.
That's where you work with integrating the body and the spirit together.
Yeah, and heart and yoni, your heart centre and your sexual centre, connecting those two back up. Yeah. So without either of them, if you're just working from one space, it's not going to work because it's not balanced.
And the bridge between those two is the solar plexus, which is the centre of your personal power. So between the sacral and heart chakra.
Yeah.
Okay, so what are the long-term implications of a female who has suppressed her feminine, her pure energy? I mean, what happens there?
You just feel sad, I think. You can just feel sad, a little bit lost, and that feeling like it's got to be more to life than this.
Okay. And so let's just change the subject a little bit, but it is on the same train. What about female traditions? Can you talk a little bit about that? Do you do any work around those, or?
Yeah, so a lot of the Activate Your Feminine, what's developing out of that is this realisation that we have forgotten to celebrate the power of the feminine, that we don't recognise our own power within ourselves.
Yeah.
We don't recognise the importance of that power in our bodies, and we have forgotten to acknowledge the fecundity of our own bodies, that amazing capacity to create and nurture life. Like, every woman has that, and it's whether you physically birth a child or not, you still have that amazing capacity to create, and we can all access that. But often, for so many women, we shun it. We're kind of told that it's a bit disgusting to bleed, or we feel like it's a bit dirty. We pretend we're not when we are.
Yep.
We hide it. So, maybe our mothers have kind of passed that on, saying it's just something like, something you've got to do so you can have babies, or without kind of saying, wow, welcome to womanhood, and look at this amazing thing that's happening in your body. And yes, there's a lot of changes, and some of that's really going to be quite difficult to manage, but wow, welcome to our beautiful, amazing, powerful adult woman world,
Yeah,
how many of us had that experience?
We don't really celebrate that, do we?
No.
As often as we should, or as much as we should. So with that, you say, there might be some perception, or we've been told it's dirty for this or that. But what about if women don't talk about it? That can have the same effect, because it's seen as, it's this secret business that nobody talks about, so therefore I'll just push it aside and not sort of embrace it, if you like.
Embrace the Do you mean?
Well, embrace the feminine power.
Yeah. I think sometimes I do think it's because there's been a bit of a fear, in our psyches or in our, I don't know, collective unconscious, however you like to use whatever kind of word, within our culture over the millennia, there's been a bit of a fear about women power.
Yeah,
and it's been the power of the womb.
Yeah.
And that sexual energy and how women can, sexually kind of control a man, or, all of those. There's all sorts of different things.
Absolutely.
Around. Yeah. So I think I've lost track of what I was saying there.
I can't remember what I asked either. So we'll just get on to your retreat now.
Well, that's partly what it is.
Anyway.
Yeah, that's partly what the retreat is about. It's about celebrating becoming women, and I think really that a lot of us missed out on it in our teenage years. So this is not about going back and having a teenage rite of passage, but it is about celebrating your own power, your own creative power, about recognising that, yes, there's a lot of stuff like bleeding and pain and that it's a bit kind of funky in some ways.
Yeah.
But somewhere we have to reclaim that because there's a lot of pain around that and a lot of women, we're ashamed about this amazing bodily process. So somewhere in there we have to bring that back into the light because pretty much all of us have got that tucked away in there somewhere, that kind of – so that's partly why we might shut down from the feminine, because it is a bit funky and bloody and bodily, So it's so full on and earthy.
It's very earthy, isn't it?
Yeah.
And the sacral chakra is very, there are 7 main chakras in the human body, even though they're invisible. They're ethereal in nature, really. Yeah. But the bottom ones are more related to sort of earthly concerns. And as you get higher up until right up to the top, which is your crown chakra, they become more spiritual in nature. So you're always it's always about unfolding them each from the bottom upwards. And if you haven't opened up and balanced your what's the base chakra, then your sacral, and then you work your way up. If you don't unfold them in that order, then you're going to find yourself living in the clouds, and that can create all kinds of issues.
Yeah.
So
you're not grounded and you're not in your body. Yeah. So it's exactly what I'm doing, but I don't.
That's the
work so much through the chakras.
No, but they're symbolic of I feel what you're talking about. So you've
definitely
got to open up those bottom, probably 2 or 3. I think the first 2, which is the base and the sacral that you talk about, the sexual energy, the kundalini, however you want to sort of term it, is very symbolic of you have to be grounded before you can work your way up to more spiritual self-actualization concerns, and live a very integrated and whole life. Now, your retreat is called Activate Your Feminine Retreat, and it's being held in Malini. Is that how you pronounce it?
It's Malini. And it's
Malini.
It's
Malini,
on 40
Queensland.
acres. Yes. So it's up in the hinterland behind the Sunshine Coast, and it's beautiful. So there's bushwalks and waterfalls, a waterfall. It's on 40 acres. So it's a house. We're going to be in a house together, cooking together and doing these beautiful practices about reconnecting to our gorgeous selves.
Yeah.
It will be amazing. It's about we'll do quite a bit of work. There'll be shadow work, bringing things back.
I was going to talk about the shadow.
Yeah. So bringing them back into the light, because that's when we really heal some of the pain around, the feminine qualities that we've shadowed. Sometimes they seem like quite positive qualities. So we'll do light and dark shadow work. But mostly, I think the thing that really ties it together is that what you'll be doing is creating those beautiful, powerful, nourishing friendships. And really feeling what it feels like to be affirmed by other women, because there's so much pain around that for most women, and being seen for who you are instead of what you do. There's so much pain around that, and so much healing to be done. So the workshops, the retreats they're healing retreats in a way. But we're not doing hands-on healing. You're actually just really reclaiming a full multidimensional experience of you.
Yes.
Of your divine feminine, your body, your creative power, and that immense capacity that you've got within yourself to heal and to discover what you've got, what you can contribute to the world. Because that's what happens. We're so busy, we shut down, we're so busy out there doing, that we forget to find that core purpose sometimes.
Yeah.
Or that core,
and what do you...
I just see it as a thread.
Yes, I know what you mean.
Purpose is a bit loaded in a way, I just think. But
it is. It can be.
It's just, finding that thread within yourself that links you up to your life.
Well, that's a nice way of putting it. And so what do you hope that women who attend this retreat or who come to it, what do you hope they get out of it?
I think that's a big thing. I think that's
a very big question, actually. I don't think you can answer that in one sentence, but
no, it's about it will be that you come away remembering who you are.
Remembering, that's a nice way of putting it too.
Yeah. That you will come away feeling full.
Not discovering, but remembering.
Yes.
So it means that you've been in there all along. It's just a matter of tapping into yourself.
And that's what ritual, that's what I see ritual as. That
and what
that opens you up to who it's a more multidimensional experience of you, of who you are, rather than just this facade that you're putting on or whatever it is. You're actually tapping back into who you really are, and then you will have tools. You will come away with tools and practices that you can use in everyday life to bring that into your world. And when you do that, when you bring it into your relationships and into your business, it changes everything.
Yeah, I imagine.
How people see you. It changes how your business flows. It changes how you are in relationship to everyone.
Yep. So that retreat runs from Thursday 23rd of November to Sunday the 26th of November this year.
Yes.
So just a couple of months to go. And how can people find out more about that?
So I actually haven't got the page up on the website yet, but I'm really happy for people to send me a text and I can ring them. So I'm really happy to give people my phone number.
Okay.
It's also on my website. So my website is louisegeary.com.
Yep. Nice and simple.
Yes, and you can contact me at email, louise@louisegeary.com.
Sure.
That's my email. And my phone number. Now, the phone number is on the top of my website anyway, but it's 0423 968 112, because you can't book into this retreat without first having a discussion and having answering a questionnaire. And so it's a kind of, you have to be, we have to have that discussion and just make sure that it's really the right thing for you.
Absolutely.
Before.
And is it just you that's at the retreat?
I have a friend, Charlene Emmanuel, who's a fantastic cook. And so she's coming along as well, and she'll do the food.
And what about Dylan? Could he come along and do a Dylan's Kitchen session?
No, it's all girls, so he can't come.
Yes.
None of my family can come.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's Activate Your Feminine Retreat. It's in Lani in Queensland, and it's being held in November. So if people want to find out more, they can go to your website, which is louisegeary.com. So your surname's spelled Geary.
Yep.
And what's your Facebook page?
So that's called Sacred Feminine Connection.
Great.
I've also I kind of started another one accidentally. I didn't really mean to. I was
That
creating
happens.
a closed group for my clients, and I ended
Okay.
up with an open one as well as the closed one. I don't know how that happened. So there's an Activate Your Feminine one as well, but it's
Okay.
it's not very active because I can only manage so many Facebook pages.
Absolutely.
But so Sacred Feminine Connection, you should
Yep.
find that one.
Yep.
And that's the one that's more has more input from me. And that's probably it. Emails. I love emails and phone calls.
Email's good. But
I
that's
like personal
interesting.
calls. So
Yeah.
send me a text and I'll ring you.
And also, it's interesting how you note that people, need to call you to have a discussion about the retreat before they sign up, just to see if it's the right thing for them. And that's great because it means that you really tailor everything according to, individual need and what people are seeking. So that's great, Louise. Okay, we have to finish up now, but finally, if you only had... excuse me, if you only had one sentence of advice or wisdom that you could impart to women so that they can lead more empowered and joyful lives, what would it be?
Ooh,
You can think
put
about
me
it.
on the spot.
Just one sentence.
That every woman has something brilliant and amazing to offer the world. Every woman is extraordinary. And all you have to do is to stop and drop into your body and stay there, and it will emerge.
I'm feeling that.
Yeah.
That's powerful stuff. I really appreciated talking to you today.
Oh, I love talking with you, Lani.
Yeah, it's been really, really fascinating stuff. And you've just touched on so many issues that many women are encountering, and how they can, somehow overcome the blocks that are standing in their way or that they have put in their own way. So that's great. Thanks a lot, Louise.
Thanks, Lani.
So next week, I'll be talking with the amazing Rosa Carafa. I hope I pronounced that properly. Author and artist who inspires to inspire your divine journey. We'll be talking about sun signs and emotions, connecting with your creative self. So we'll be discussing the emotional nature of each of the 12 zodiac signs, archetypes, how our emotions can influence and draw out our creativity, and in turn enhance our spiritual connections with our inner selves and with others. So I look forward to speaking with Rosa next week. And thank you again, Louise.
Thanks, Lani.
For being on my show. Thanks.
Thank you. I loved it.
Great. Bye.
Thanks for joining us for Lani Sharp's Esoteric Brunch. See you next time for more. Bring your friends and join us weekly with Lani for an Esoteric Brunch. Sock Radio aims to provide a wide range of hosts, shows, views and opinions while endeavouring to maintain our three vital principles of openness, honesty and integrity, covering all aspects of spiritualism, mediumship, healing, personal and spiritual development for all faiths, religions and walks of life as a way of life. As part of our spiritualistonline.com, Spiritualist Online Network and Lyceum, Sock Radio brings you the latest and honours news, views and names in the spiritual field. Check us out and tune in to Sock Radio on spiritualistonline.com.